What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Hibiscus Motorsports. As you can see, kind of in a bit of a odd area right now. Got some tarps, got an oven, more tarps, and if you read the title of the video, then you know what all this is for, because I finally got a full powder coating setup. I'm super excited, so without further ado, let's get into what we got. Alrighty guys, so obviously to powder coat, you need a oven and things like that. So here's what we got. So, went to the wonderful world of Facebook Marketplace, picked up a cheap oven. Actually, it was a gift from my brother for Christmas. Have a box of powders. Shout out to Prismatic Powders, the guys I ordered this from. Shipped it super quick, so that's awesome. And then right here is the main piece of everything. This is a Eastwood PCS 250 dual voltage powder coating system. So we're going to get into that a little bit more down the line in this video. And then also just another little accessory I have is a Eastwood powder coating and painting rack. This is one of my oven's racks right now. As you can see, that's the whole point of it. It's supposed to grab onto them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into why I wanted to do powder coating and all that. Alrighty, so obviously a question you might have is why powder coating? There's advantages and disadvantages, so let's talk about those right now. So we're going to start with the advantages of powder coating. So first things first, it's a lot more durable than spray paint. So the main reason I wanted to get a powder coating setup was because about probably at this point, maybe like a year ago, I used high heat temp spray paint on my valve cover on the Miata. It's gone. In a couple of my videos, you can see it definitely in the Let's Talk Sway Bars video. If you haven't seen that video, you can definitely see the valve cover's paint is completely gone. It sat over winter, and then just driving it again over the next summer, it cracked up. It's like half there, half not, so it just looks really bad. So powder coating definitely won't do that. The main reason why is that spray paint, obviously you're spraying a layer of wet paint on it, letting it dry. Powder coating the actual paint is in little like plastic ball form, and it's obviously a powder, so when you throw it in the oven and you bake it, it melts all together and creates kind of like a hardened shell. Like that's the closest thing that I can really compare to, is more like a shell over your part. And it's super resistant to heat, to chemicals, things like that. So definitely a lot stronger, a lot more durable. Once you get something powder coated, you're really never gonna have to get it done again, unless maybe you want to do it in another color. Alrighty, so another advantage of powder coating over normal just spray paint is the wide range of colors you have. Now, when I was looking for powders, there's thousands upon thousands of colors. I know there's a ton of spray paints too, but another advantage with the colors for powder coating is you can actually mix two colors together and make new colors. So, you can get different finishes, or, maybe you're going to mix a gray and a blue to create a slightly different blue, things like that. So a lot different shades of different colors. So powder coating, you have a lot more creativity with how you mix the powders and all that to make some awesome colors. Alrighty, so obviously the main first downside of powder coating is going to be the cost. So if you want to powder coat yourself, that's going to be the most expensive way. You're going to need an oven. If you don't have a way to power that oven, because all electric ovens will take usually around 240 volts, you're going to need a generator if you can't power that out off like a house or a shop, garage, anything like that. You're going to need an air compressor, you're going to need the powder coating gun, you're going to need, ways to clean up the powder, you're going to need to be able to prep your part, you're going to need, obviously the powder itself. So, the list goes on. It can get very, very pricey. There are powders out there that, like $100 per pound, so it can get very expensive. Taking a part usually to a shop is cheaper. Obviously, you can't do it yourself. You can't powder coat yourself. Like, if you just take a valve cover to the shop, obviously, anything else you ever want to powder coat, you have to bring to the shop. So, it's nice having your own setup, but it's definitely more expensive than just painting it with spray paint. Alrighty, so another disadvantage of powder coating is going to have to be the temperature resistance of the parts that you're working on. So whatever you're working on needs to be able to withstand, between 350 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit in an oven for like 15-20 minutes. So there's a lot of plastics and things like that that you can't powder coat, solely because if you put it in the oven at that temperature for that long, it's just going to melt. So obviously, paint doesn't have that issue. You can paint anything you want. There is a process called hot flocking for powder coating, which is where you heat up the part and then spray the powder on, and just because the part is hot, it begins to melt on it, so it doesn't actually go into the oven. Again, if the part can't handle higher temperatures, it's obviously going to melt or things like that. So It's definitely, you know, not ideals for a lot of plastics or rubber or anything like that. So paint definitely wins in that aspect as well. Alright, before we talk about anything else powder coating wise, a couple safety disclaimers if, you know, you're looking at potentially powder coating yourself. First things first, don't use the oven that you put food in. So obviously, when people say, oh, you need an oven for powder coating, a lot of people go, oh, I already have one of those in my kitchen. Don't do that. Whatever oven you are using for powder is no longer food safe. It's not good. You don't want to really eat the same food. You don't want to eat food out of the same oven that you just baked paint in. You can kind of see how that would be a problem. So buy a dedicated oven. It's okay if that oven once was used for cooking food. That doesn't matter. As long as once you put paint in there, food will never be going back in it. So that's the number one first safety discretion about this. Second thing, this is powder that you're spraying. Make sure that you have, you know, a respirator or dust mask, something to prevent you from breathing in the paint, as obviously that's not good. You're going to want, you know, obviously safety glasses, things like that. And then make sure you have a nice open area that you're okay if it gets a little messy. That's why I have all these tarps set up around me, so that the tarps get dirty and nothing else. So that's obviously a couple little safety things. And then back to the oven again. Don't use a gas or propane oven. The main reason is that this powder is flammable, as funny as that is because you put it in an oven. So because those ovens obviously work off of a open flame, being the propane and gas ones, that can sometimes ignite the powder, and that's just dangerous. Use an electric oven. That's what every, you know, professional recommends. And again, please do not use the same oven that you put food in. That's just a terrible idea, super dangerous. So if you take nothing else away from this video, don't use your kitchen oven. Alrighty, so the color we're going to be starting off with is just a simple gloss black, as you can kind of see right there. That's the nice thing about prismatic powders. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. Just the first company I found when I was looking at ordering powder. Prices seemed pretty fair, pretty reasonable, and I got this stuff in probably like a week, not even. So again, big shout out to you guys. Thank you very much. This powder is the cheapest powder I ordered. Figure it's just a good place to start. So we're going to pour this into the actual canister, container, whatever you want to call it, on the actual powder coating gun, and go from there. So it's pretty simple. The actual canister just unscrews. Here's my nice homemade funnel. Make sure if you're going to make a funnel like I did, because I didn't have a funnel that would fit this right, it's nice and dry, as again, powder coating's main enemy is moisture. That's why, like, if you're going to do a setup like this, you know, you also need things like air dryers and moisture separators, anything like that in your lines. Even little ones like this work. This was like $3 from my local hardware store. So just make sure that's a little tip for you. So make sure everything's nice and dry before you start to pour your powder. And then simply enough, you know, you want to fill it about halfway. Don't really fill over that, so that the air has enough, you know, there's enough room in here so air can get underneath the powder and actually lift it up. If you overfill this, you're not going to have enough. And obviously, safety first, so a nice set of eye protection is always good when it comes to powder coating. And you definitely want some form of a respirator or, you know, like a dust mask, anything like that, just to cover your faces. Again, we're working with powder. So without further ado, it's time to pour the powder. So now that we've poured our actual powder, the next step is going to be cleaning. So here I just have two pieces of just random scrap metal I had lying around. One's aluminum, one's steel. So what I have now is just some rubbing alcohol on a paper towel. I'm wearing gloves, obviously, so I don't get these parts covered in oils from my fingers. And I'm just going to give them a nice wipe down, as that is one of the other main parts when it comes to actual powder coating, is going to be your preparation. Cleaning your parts, things like that, is also very, very important before you actually spray powder. Just like painting, you know, just want to make sure everything is nice and clean, ready to go before we actually spray some powder coat. Alrighty, so for anyone who might not know how powder coating actually works, basically, on this machine specifically, all powder coating machines will have this. You're going to have a clamp and a button. Basically, how the powder ends up actually sticking to the part is when it comes out of the actual powder coating gun, it gets electronically charged, and that electronically charged part is now looking for the opposite charge, obviously, to stick to. So you clamp this onto your part, and every time then when you spray and you push this button, as long as the powder is going in the direction of the part, it'll kind of head towards it, it'll kind of know where it's going, and will stick to your part. Excess powder will kind of just fall off or kind of puff away. Very excited for my first ever time powder coating. We're gonna see if I can clamp this to the actual rack of the oven instead of the individual parts. I can do both of them at the same time. But without further ado, let's get right into it. For a first shot, I'm actually pretty impressed. You can see nice, good coating on this piece. This big sheet of aluminum up here, there's a little bit, it's a little bit shallower. That's probably just because I was starting to run out of powder. I thought I put about half in it. I definitely didn't. Once it kind of starts puffing up when you're pouring the powder in, it definitely kind of starts getting kind of everywhere, making it hard to see. So I'm actually kind of curious also to see how the difference in look is, as again, these are just complete scrap pieces. So let's get the oven preheating up to 400 degrees and then get these parts cooking. So the oven that I personally picked up, I should say, guy was getting rid of it. Obviously the whole top is all cracked up. It still works. He threw some tape on there and then just cold weather made it crack even more. I don't really care. Again, all that really matters is the actual inside of the oven working. Other reasons I got this one too is it has a functional oven light. Oh, I just turned it off. Functional oven light. Also, you know, we have everything. We even have a timer set on it. So, further ado, let's go bake and get this set to 400 degrees. And there we go. It should be preheating. Yep, there we go. So, I will catch you guys when this gets up to 400 degrees. So, the oven's horrible 400 degree preheat bell has gone off, so it's time to throw these parts into the oven. Obviously wear gloves or something like that. It's going to be very hot inside the oven, so open it up, throw them in, close the oven, and we're going to set a timer for 20 minutes. And there we go. So, with the timer ticking down now, Basically, there's a couple things I just wanted to say while we wait, obviously, for the parts to come out of the oven. So if you don't know, again, how powder coating works, simply, inside the oven right now, the powder on the parts is getting very hot and will begin to melt, creating almost kind of like a shell over the parts. Obviously, I'm going to show what they look like when they come out of the oven. But simply, it's just they're going to heat up, and then the actual paint's going to melt, creating that shell, like I just said. And it's going to stick to it, and it's going to be just never really going to come off until you heat it up again, way past, you know, if you needed it to fully come off, you're going to have to heat it up way past like the 400-degree mark, as powder coat is very heat resistant. So just, you know, that's the main reason why I wanted to really get a powder coating setup, because a lot of things that I've spray painted in the past on my car, you know, the paint will begin to chip, or you know, if I scratch it, things like that, it'll come right off. And, you know, even if I paint over anything that's steel, obviously in a state where I get snow and all that, things that I have made, like for example my splitter brackets, I've noticed surface rust on them, so I've taken them out, sanded them down, repainted them. So I definitely want to make those out of aluminum at some point, but even aluminum can oxidize, just not as obviously much as steel does. So powder coating is going to be an amazing thing to have as another skill under my belt. As you guys also saw, it's my first ever time doing it. It's pretty easy. It took maybe 1-2 minutes to spray these two parts down. Obviously with a more intricate part, it might take a little bit longer, but overall it's pretty easy. Just a junkyard oven. Obviously the setup's going to cost more than spray paint is, but overall we're going to get a much more solid and sturdy finish. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was thank you very much, guys, for the support on YouTube recently. I know I say this in all my videos, but I wanted to have a dedicated section in this video about that, as the subscribers, as I keep saying, subscribers are going up, views are going up, watch time, all that's going up. So thank you so much, guys. You know, I mean, we're coming up on the 1-year mark. Hibiscus Motorsports was created in February of last year, for anyone who didn't know that. So going from, you know, obviously just starting YouTube channel, not knowing what I was doing, now to, as of today, we're at 37 subscribers. I know to some people that doesn't seem like a lot. You know, there are YouTube channels out there that get like 10,000 subscribers in their first, you know, even their first couple months, but 37 subscribers is more than I ever expected to get. I'm just some random dude, just living my life, just trying to share, you know, my love and knowledge about cars and learn along the way with you guys. So thank you so much, guys. It really means a ton to me. If you're watching this video and, you know, you either really enjoy it or you find yourself coming back to my channel, right now would be a perfect time while we wait. Right now we got 14 minutes left, but while we wait for this part to come out of the oven, to click that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. It would mean a ton to me, guys. You know, we're at 37 now. Hopefully in a couple of years we can be at 37,000. Who knows? But I personally love making these videos for you guys. I've been making a video every week for the past couple weeks, in case you didn't notice. I've been uploading like crazy because this is a big passion to me. I love making these videos for you guys. And, you know, again, thank you so much for clicking on. Thank you so much for watching them, sharing with your friends, all that. It really means a ton to me, guys. So thank you. And without further ado, we're at 13 minutes. And I will catch you guys when that part comes out of the oven. Or 2 parts, I should say, come out of the oven. Alrighty, guys, so the parts have finally finished cooling. What I did was I simply just opened up the oven door and just let them slowly, gradually cool down, just to make sure that, you know, I didn't quickly take them out of the heat and they, you know, quickly, you know, cooled down and just potentially would crack the paint. So, obviously, if you're going to take these out pretty quickly, this is going to be hot. Please use a glove or anything like that. Mine's been cooling down for a long time now. And overall, though, it's going to be a little hard to see on camera. I only did the sides, and so this side obviously doesn't really have any powder on it. I only did the sides and the top of it, but overall this gloss black looks really good. For my first time, I'm actually pretty happy about it. Now, this was the piece that towards the top right up here was the paint was a little bit thinner, and you can definitely see it in the light. There's definitely some discrepancies. The paint, you know, areas where the paint's a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner, so that's definitely, you know, you can kind of see them up towards the top right there versus down here. So definitely, you know, for my first time though, overall, I'm actually pretty happy with this. So I'm going to try out the other colors that I got and then the other textures and all that. I'm going to even try to see if I can mess around with potentially mixing colors, or maybe, you know, spraying a color and then because there's powder coats that I bought where you spray the color, you kind of half bake it for like 10 minutes, take it back out of the oven, spray the other color onto it, and then throw it back in the oven. It creates maybe like a shinier finish or a stronger finish, depending what you're going for. So overall though, I'm actually pretty happy with how those first parts came out. I also just ran out to my hardware store and picked up a new, almost dropped it, picked up a new air compressor, air pressure regulator. Main reason is that the other one I had, the inline one, was really kind of giving all the air or very little air. So when you come to powder coating like this for the setup that I have, the powder coating gun wants to see between 7 to 10 psi of air pressure. So I was really not getting that all that well. That's why in the clips that you saw before, the powder kind of puffs out really quickly and then not much comes out. So we're definitely going to retry with a new actual air regulator and with a couple different powders and see if it comes out any better. So as kind of stupid and funny as this is, the next thing that I want to test powder coating is going to be this adjustable wrench. So basically just again have one of the oven racks on my Eastwood powder coating stand. Definitely recommend this thing. It's super nice being able to just hold my actual oven rack so that I can just pull it out and just slide it right into the oven. Just as a precaution, we're going to remove this oven rack just in case it would potentially hit on the actual oven. So I'm thinking either impact blue or super chrome, because the wrench already is a silvery kind of chrome looking. So I'm not sure if I want just a super shiny wrench or if I want a bright blue obnoxious wrench. So I'm going to decide, and then let's get to actually powder coating it. I'm super excited. So I decided to go with the Hyper Chrome, or Super Chrome, whatever it's called. I just figured that would look a little funny on a adjustable wrench. So we're just going to, again, wipe it down. That is the main thing with these parts. Nice thing too is I'm not potentially going to get my fingers all over my oils for my fingers all over this because it's hanging right now, so that's nice. But overall, I gotta say, powder coating is pretty fun, in all honesty. Doesn't seem like it really would be, but I'm actually really having a fun time doing this, so. Alrighty, now it's wiped down. Now let's spray some powder. So I took the wrench out of the oven. It's still finished cooling. It's got a little bit longer to go. So this is what we got. So obviously, can't really see it too well on camera, but I'm gonna say this thing is extremely chrome in person. It's a little silly, a little goofy in my opinion, because it's just an adjustable wrench that now looks like a chromed exhaust tip. But I'm just messing around with this, just learning this setup. So I got my titanium shift knob in my Miata. I really want to powder coat with that high grip powder coat that I was talking about earlier in this video. So what that stuff is it's just powder coat that when it cures, it creates kind of like almost like a sandpapery style grip on it, just so that obviously to give whatever you're powder coating more grip. Obviously on a shift knob, you want to be able to grip it, so I thought it was awesome to be able to use in shift knobs. I may potentially mix it with the impact blue to kind of create like a grippy blue. I'm not sure how well that would work, so I'm going to obviously, if I do that, I'm going to try that obviously just on a piece of scrap metal first before I do it on my shift knob. But overall, I gotta admit guys, this is really fun. Like I just said before, you know, it's really easy in all honesty. I mean, this is now my second time doing this with the new air regulator I got. It's definitely a lot better. So I personally don't really recommend using the little inline ones. Let me grab it real fast. This was the regulator I was using before with just a little air filter and dryer. This one pretty much just gave either all or nothing. So I wouldn't recommend using one of these. Definitely would recommend using, you know, an actual full regulator if you're going to do something like this. If not, obviously, then you don't have to worry about it. But overall, this is really fun. So I'll catch you guys back when that's fully cooled down, and we'll see if we're going to do any other powder coating for today. Alrighty guys, so that's going to do it for this video, so thank you so much for watching. Overall, I am super happy about the powder coating. I know this is not a glamorous setup by any means, just 3 tarps, an oven, a little rack, and obviously the powder coating setup with the compressor, all that. So overall though, I'm super pleased with it. It works very well. Like I said, I'm sorry that I didn't do any like big parts yet or anything like that. I'm new to it. I want to do a little bit more research, get a couple new powders to mess around with. But the adjustable wrench came out awesome, and so did the, like I said, those 2 scrap pieces of metal I just did gloss black. Those came out really nice as well, so I'm super excited about this. Expect to see powder coating a lot more in future videos, especially fabrication videos, because anything that I can fit in this oven that's metal, I am 100% going to powder coat now instead of painting, just because I have the setup, may as well. And also, I just think it just looks awesome. The super gloss finish of the powder coating looks awesome. So again, like I said, that's going to do it for this video, so thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any tips or tricks or anything like that about powder coating, leave them down in the comments below. I'd love to learn from you guys. If any of you guys are better at powder coating than I am, which I'm sure there's some of you out there who definitely are, as this is my first time doing it. So thank you so much for watching again. If you liked the video, leave it a like, leave a comment down below on maybe some other things, you know, I should try powder coating. Like I said, some tips, tricks, anything you want. And then if you really enjoyed the video, or you see yourself coming back to my channel frequently and you're not already, please consider subscribing. And if you do, thank you very much. And don't forget to click that notification bell, set that to all, so you never miss one of my videos. Again, guys, thank you so much. The support's been crazy. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Hibiscus Motorsports. I'd love to be able to get to 40 subscribers from there. Right now, we're at 37, so it would mean a ton to me if we could get there. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace.